Assalamu alaikum. My name is Imran from the platform of Psychology Lectures and Discussions. Today we will discuss about Psychoanalysis School of Psychology. Psychoanalysis is basically a school of psychology that school of psychology was established by the Sigmund Freud. The Sigmund Freud is very well known psychologist, and everyone who is linked with the subject of psychology, he is very known person for almost everyone. So today we will talk about the complete school of psychology. Before this, I have delivered few lectures regarding conscious, preconscious, ego, superego, ego defense mechanisms, psychosexual stages. So today we will compile each and every aspect that is related with the Sigmund Freud. So let's start our lecture. So first, what is psychoanalysis? Psychoanalysis is basically a combination of two words. One is psycho, while the other is analysis. So the complete meaning of psychoanalysis is, the psycho means mind or the human psyche, and analysis means to analyze or the in-depth study. So the complete meaning of psychoanalysis is the in-depth study of mind, the complete study of mind or the human psyche. So what is the complete study? What is the reason behind this school of psychology that is presented by the Sigmund Freud? Basically, the psychoanalysis is defined as a set of psychological theories and therapeutic techniques that have their origin in work and theories of Sigmund Freud. As I have described earlier, that all theories, all related data that we will speak today, that is all about Sigmund Freud. So all theories belong from this person. The core idea at the center of psychoanalysis is the belief that all people possesses unconscious thoughts, feelings, desires and memories. So the central point of this school of psychology is that the unconsciousness, what is the unconsciousness? The unconsciousness is the reservoir of thoughts, feelings, urges, memories of a person. So by bringing the content of the unconscious into the conscious awareness, people are then able to experience catharsis and gain insight into their current state of mind. Now try to understand that there are three basic terms. One is conscious, other is preconscious, and the third is unconscious. I have already delivered a lecture on conscious, preconscious and unconscious, but today I will just summarize. If you want to listen the complete lecture, then you may go in my playlist and you can find about the conscious, preconscious and unconscious. But today I will talk about that what is the conscious, preconscious and unconscious in a very short way, in a summary way. So the conscious is the current state of mind. I am delivering a lecture at the moment. This is my current state of mind. That everything that is into my awareness, that is actually my consciousness. If you are listening a lecture, then that is your consciousness. If I am speaking a lecture or I am delivering a lecture, this is my consciousness. So the bottom line is that everything that is into the awareness or in the current state of mind, that is our consciousness. What is preconsciousness? The preconscious is a person has knowledge about something, but he or she delivered that knowledge at the time of need. For example, if I am speaking or teaching a lecture of psychology, if someone came to me and asked me that sir, please tell me the meaning of the formula of mean, then I will put my attention towards the statistics and and I will let him know about the formula of mean. So it means that the knowledge was present in my mind, but I have delivered my knowledge, I have used my knowledge at the time of need. So in the pre-consciousness, a person has knowledge in the mind, but he or she delivered or to use that knowledge at the time of need. That is basically the pre-consciousness. And what is unconsciousness? The unconsciousness is the reservoir of thoughts, feelings, urges, memories of a person, okay, and most of the content of that thoughts is painful, okay. So that is basically the conscious, the pre-conscious, and the unconscious. So what these three terms, what is the relationship of these three terms with the psychoanalysis? Basically, according to Sigmund Freud, a person has some bad memories, some things that is not favorable with a person. That memories put towards the unconsciousness. That memory shifted towards the unconsciousness. So, by the method of psychoanalysis, those memories diagnosed, those memories acquired into the consciousness, and then they started the treatment and to the treatment with the psychotherapies, the treatment with the different sort of medications, and then a person can be or can feel the normalized after the treatment. So the core idea, the central idea of psychoanalysis is if a person has some bad memories in the mind, if a person has some repressed thoughts in the mind, then through the process of psychoanalysis, those thoughts, those memories put forward towards the consciousness, and then they started the treatment. That might be catharsis, that might be dream interpretation, that might be the psychopathology, that might be, and there might other psychotherapies that can also play a major role in the treatment of a psychoanalysis, like hypnosis and etc. So previously we have studied that what is the psychoanalysis is to put the unconscious thoughts into the consciousness and then started to treatment. That is basically the purpose of psychoanalysis. What is the psychoanalysis? Psychoanalysis basically is the in-depth study of human psyche or the in-depth study of mind. So when a person is diagnosed with the psychoanalysis and the actual reason came, then what happened? Then the treatment of then the treatment methods started in the psychoanalysis. And what are those treatment methods are to treat the psychoanalytical person? I have described the core idea of the psychoanalysis is the belief that all people possess some repressed unconscious thoughts, feelings and desires and memories. By bringing the content from unconscious into awareness or consciousness, and for the purpose of treatment is called psychoanalysis. Okay. Now, what is the treatment basically? How Sigmund Freud used the treatment of psychoanalysis? We basically will try to learn about it. Well, number one is catharsis and number two is hypnosis. A catharsis is an emotional release. According to psychoanalytic theory, the emotional release is linked to a need to relieve unconscious conflict. For example, experiencing stress over a work-related situation may cause feelings of frustration and tension. Basically, the catharsis is used as a treatment method of psychoanalysis. And what happened in the catharsis? The catharsis is basically the emotional release of a person. When a person releases his emotion, then his thought might be more clear, then his unconsciousness might be more effective, and those thoughts could deliver towards the consciousness, and then the treatment of catharsis may be started. So rather than vent these feelings inappropriately, the individual may instead release these feelings into another way, such as through physical activity or another stress relieving activity. So in catharsis, a person use the constructive way of releasing their emotions. That might be the sports, that might be the other things, to weep or some other tactics, or to use their, or to start to discuss with their psychologist, with their friends, to release those sort of negative emotions. So that is very important sort of treatment methods. The term catharsis originated from the Greek word catharsis, meaning purge or purgation. What is hypnosis? You must know, if you are a student of psychology, then you must know what is the hypnotization or hypnosis. I will not go towards the whole process of hypnosis. The basic purpose of hypnosis is to express the negative emotions during this process and then try to treat those sort of problems or symptoms that are repressed. So that is basically hypnosis. In the method of free association, a psychologist give the instruction to his client that he or she can speak freely and try to speak freely and fluently, and he or she can share each and everything. By this process of free association, there is no gap between the psychologist and the client, and that may work. By tracing these stream of thoughts, Freud believed he could uncover the contents of unconscious mind where repressed desires and painful childhood memories existed. Another point is interpretation of psychopathology of everyday life. In psychoanalytic theory of Sigmund Freud, another important the treatment method of psychoanalysis is interpretation of psychopathology of. According to Freud, our mistakes of daily life is a part of our unconsciousness. Freud noted down all the mistakes of the patient or client for the purpose of interpretation. Basically, Freud suggests their clients or patients that to note down each and every mistake which they made, and according to Freud, he thinks that those mistakes that a client or a patient made, that is due to the unconsciousness. So there is some meaning of those faults or of those mistakes, so he can read those things and try to give some more better suggestion in everyday life. Another important point is the interpretation of dreams. According to Sigmund Freud, dream played an important role, and it is a royal road towards the unconsciousness. Sigmund Freud said our dreams provide a rich material to our unconsciousness. Dreams divided into two categories. One is the manifest part and other is the latent part. The manifest part is the actual dream, while the latent part is the meaning of that dream. That is actually the meaning of the latent part is the meaning of dream, while the manifest part is the actual dream. He basically thinks that, the Sigmund Freud thinks that every dream has a hidden meaning. Every dream has an underlying meaning. So he basically wrote a book on the interpretation of dream too. So you can also consult that book, and you can and you can be informed by some very interesting informations of Sigmund Freud. So basically, this was the psychoanalysis school of psychology of Sigmund Freud. I have tried to give each and every aspect to my viewers, that psychoanalysis, what was basically the psychoanalysis. In the start we have discussed about what basically the psychoanalysis, what is the meaning of psychoanalysis, what is the purpose of psychoanalysis, what is conscious, what is preconscious, what is unconscious, what is ego and superego. And after that we have talked about the treatment methods of psychoanalysis. Then we have talked about the what is anxiety, what are the ego defense mechanisms, and then we have also talked about the psychosexual stages that were used by the Sigmund Freud. So in this lecture we have covered a vast material, even a book of psychology that is called the Psychoanalysis. So if you have some queries, if you have some questions, then you can write down in the comment box. I will try to answer them accordingly. So till the next lecture, goodbye.